So I wish someone would have told me that attaining peace sometimes means that you have to go through certain trials and tribulations in order to attain that peace. Sometimes you have to get your heart broken in order to learn a certain lesson that keeps repeating in your life, and in order to heal those wounds that may have stemmed from childhood trauma, in order to have more moments of peace in your life. Welcome to this channel. My name is Shayla, and I support single moms who feel stressed and overwhelmed with gaining more peace in their life. So, being out in nature, meditating, having a nice bubble bath, getting your hair and nails done, and all of that stuff is relaxing and might give you some peace. But what about when it's time for you to, no longer be in a certain cycle of your life, no longer tolerating disrespect or no longer being around people who abuse you, whether that is mentally, emotionally, or being around people who always take from you but never want to reciprocate what you give in return. So, a few years ago, I was in a situation where I was just awakening to certain things that were going on around me and within the relationships that were I was in, particularly with family members. And I was just awakening to, every time I expressed myself, I felt unheard. Sometimes I felt like I wasn't seen for who I truly were. And then also, I felt like, you know, that feeling of feeling like maybe people say like you're the black sheep of the family, or you could feel like people are like they gaining up on you if you have a differing opinion, or sometimes it could be downright you're dealing with, narcissistic abuse. Okay. So those are some of the things like I felt like I was dealing with within my family. And so in order for me to, get the peace that I needed, I chose to walk away from most of my family members a few years back. And that was really challenging for me because I was usually, always around them, and for the most part. And I think I found myself codependent, on them as well too. As a single mom, it was not an easy choice to separate myself from my family because I was a single mom and my child was, I think, around 10 or 9 at the time. So he was still kind of young, but I just knew that being around, certain types of people or energies that, some of my family members, carried was just toxic to me. And I didn't want that to rub off on my child. So, when I was around my family, this is the thing. When you are around people who don't really respect you or they treat you like a child, even in front of your child, they may say certain things to, make you feel a certain type of way. When you stay around those type of people, what example are you setting for your child? Are you letting your child see you get disrespected, not defending yourself, not standing up for yourself, tolerating disrespect? And sometimes, it's like you do have to stand up for yourself, or sometimes you just may have to take, walk away for a while or forever, depending on you. But I was like, I can't deal with the things that I was dealing with certain family members. So I chose to just walk away, and it was not easy for me. The result of me walking away from certain family members was I did gain more moments of peace. I'm going to be honest. Not in the initial stage, it definitely took a while, but I felt like I came more back home to who I truly was instead of trying to be, someone that is trying to fit into a certain family, my family or community, right? Or trying to meet certain expectations of your family, right? And not only that, but also I became a little bit more independent. I grew. I started to dive into certain spiritual practices that I definitely was not doing before I chose to walk away. And I gained a lot more insight and wisdom about myself and about certain things about myself that were good and that were, not so good. And I'm still on this journey of learning more about me and my journey and what I'm here to do. And who I am today, I feel like would never had happened probably had I would have just stayed connected to the people that I were really connected to and close knit with. Because what happened when I branched off from my family, I felt more free to just kind of be, you know, just kind of be who I wanted to be. And I didn't have to, walk on eggshells, or, I could connect with certain people that at that time I vibe with, you know, and not so much connect with people based on, DNA. I remember I made a video one time saying that blood does not equal love or something like that. um, you know, and that is to say that sometimes your true family are those who vibrate on the same vibration with you, those who hold the same type of morals and values with you, those who respect you, and those who see you and hear you and love you truly, unconditionally for who you are today. So I know that as a single mom, it can be hard to separate yourself from family members or from anybody that you feel like may be a little bit toxic to you or just not in alignment with who you truly are. Because at the same time, I do believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and it's not easy. I'm not the I'm not a perfect parent. My child is not perfect, okay? But at the end of the day, we all just have to do the best we can and deal with, you know, do the best we can with what we got and what the cards we have been dealt with, okay? Um And I'm not coming on here, saying that my family is bad. I'm just sharing my experience and just saying that, I always felt deep down a little different from, the people who I grew up with or the people that I share DNA with. So, anyways, you guys let me know, what do you guys think? And I hope you have a wonderful day.